So today's service is on the becoming Unitarian, the road less traveled. And I'm sure some of you that have organized services in the past were just thinking, my God, will this children's story ever end? It's a horrible picking, right? But perhaps it was an intentional extension for our service today. Because like the Velveteen Rabbit, many Unitarians do not come here naturally. John and Judy, I think you're two exceptions. Born and raised Unitarians, you're like the unicorns of Unitarianism. Becoming a Unitarian, many of us, when we get to this place in life, we have walked in, we carry religious trauma from other organized religions. We carry bad experiences. We may have lost hope. We may have given up on the idea that there's a place where we could belong. And yes, our velvet might be rubbed off and our eyes missing, our whiskers pulled out, and we may have lived a good life. But when we become Unitarian, we become real. We become real in the sense that what we are practicing is something that reaches to our core and sings within us. And it doesn't matter anymore what people think. And it doesn't matter because we belong and we find this place to call home. It is one of the greatest gifts of life. And when we look back across our white Anglo-American history, you will notice that as we pioneered the West, one of the first things to come into the settled communities was churches. For their purpose was to serve as community spaces, to celebrate times of celebration, weddings, baptisms, but also to come together to support each other in times of grief, funerals, the passing of loved ones, the hard times, the drought. And so now we live in a society where having a congregational home may not be viewed as something essential in order to survive within your community. But maybe during these trying times, it's all more important that we have a place to call home, a place that we can believe in and that supports us. As a reminder, as a member congregation of the Unitarian Universalist Association, we covenant and affirm to promote the inherent worth and dignity of every person, justice, equity, and compassion in human relations, acceptance of one another, and encouragement to spiritual growth in our congregations, a free and responsible search for truth and meaning, the right of conscience and the use of the democratic process within our congregations and in society at large, the goal of a world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all, and respect for the interdependent web of existence of which we are a part. The last 2 years have been a challenge for us in many of those areas. And we find it hard to advocate for that dream that we set out to live in a world that presents so many challenges. One of the things that I think was interesting was a piece that I read in Scientific American not too long ago. It was an editorial by Catherine Ivey, who's a critical care nurse in a medical center in Nashville, Tennessee. And the title of the piece was "A New Nurse Struggles to Save Patients in a New COVID Surge." And it talked about her experience, but one of the things that I thought was the most important was that how she closed, because it speaks to that existence of being real, of being the rabbit that's lost their velveteen, that has struggled, that has come across hardship, but at the end is loved. Pandemics cut to the heart of us because they reveal the intricate, unrelenting web of human connection that has become easier and easier to ignore. Americans have always been individualistic, sometimes to a fault. And I see this more clearly during this pandemic than ever before. We have forgotten that we are all connected, a giant golden web with threads of light among friends, parents, children, siblings. This web spans the globe and ties us each to each other. The actions of a single person impact the lives of many, and the pandemic illustrates this in the most brutal way. A man with a sore throat goes into the grocery store and infects 8 people, each of whom infects 8 more people, and then 8 more. No one is an island, and all of our actions have an impact on the world and community around us. There is a truth deep at the heart of this that goes much deeper than political parties or vaccines, or even science itself. There is nothing more important in this world than being good and kind to one another. There is no legacy that matters more. And perhaps the journey of becoming a Unitarian teaches us all that a simple set of principles for people of many faith backgrounds, atheists, Jews, Christians, recovering Catholics, people that do not believe in a higher power, coming together to realize that loving one another and creating space to support one another is the most basic human need of all. Thank you.